10 cereal bowls, 30 minutes. That should be a challenge. The more you do it, the better you get. So by doing 10 of these in 30 minutes, you're going to improve. You're going to get really good at this. And even if you don't make the 30 minutes, if you did 10 of them, period, you're going to improve. It's going to make you so much better. So there's the challenge. Okay, so here's my setup. Here's the tools I'm going to be using. Here's the boards. That should hold at least 5 bowls. I have 2 of them there stacked on top of each other. And there's a bag of 11 balls of clay. So that's the easy setup, nothing too special. All right, let's get started with this. We're gonna throw our clay down. And I told you want to be able to do this in 3, cone up, cone down, and 3 different movements. The more seamless, that's my cone up, and that's my cone down. The more seamless you can do it, the faster it becomes. So that time I just pushed up and pushed back down. There's the third one. Okay. There it is, centered, and now it's ready to make. I'm gonna put my hole in it, put some water in there. Go down till I'm about 1/4 inch away from the bottom. I'm gonna pull it out, and as I pull it out, I'm gonna start shaping that interior so that it starts to look like the bowl that I want it to be. So it's got a curve to it already. Comes out and goes up. Then I'm going to pull that wall. When I do this, almost all my pressure is on the outside of the wall at this time because I want the interior to stay nice and smooth all the way up into the wall. I don't want to be pushing out with my inside hand because it can actually damage that. That's 2 pulls. This third one is going to be mostly to finish shaping a little bit of the interior and just guaranteeing that that wall is nice and even. I'm going to add a little bit of a lip edge up there, round off the lip. Okay, go back in, make sure it's nice and even. I want it right up into the wall. I don't want it to have any edges in there. Edges are bad in bowls. Nice rounded lip edge. I can use this to trim off just a little bit. That's just to guarantee that the cut wire goes all the way to the bat when I pull it through. There we go. Scrape my hands off a little bit. Grab my towel, wipe my hands. Go ahead and put my fingers underneath it there. Well, we can do it this way if you want. Or you get the bat a little wet, pull that underneath, and I can just slide it off onto my hand to see how it caves in a little bit. And when I set it down, if I let it go, it pops back to center. All right, then I go on to the next one. That one was a 3 minutes, so this time I gotta quit talking and just concentrate. This one should stick me around 6 minutes. Now the advantage of making bowls so quickly is that you are, first off, you're going through the whole process more than once in a single sitting. So parts of this become second nature, muscle memory. So what's going to happen is these bowls are going to end up looking more and more like each other, like a set, and they're going to start to well, it's going to improve. My abilities to do it is going to improve each time. I know that once I get in the swing of things, just from past experience, that this can turn into a 2-minute or even less, a little less than 2 minutes process. So I won't be spending all this time I'll actually be improving, even me, as I keep going. There is an exhaustion level. I don't know exactly where that is. It's a little different every time, where your muscles just get exhausted from doing the same thing over and over again. And then you start to slow down. I noticed that when I make mugs. I used to make 60 mugs at a sit, try to give myself 2 minutes per mug, and it worked. The first about 3 or 4 were kind of slow. After that, it sped up, and the last about 10 were every bit as slow as the first ones I made, because I was just getting tired. Now, I don't care if I trim off a whole bunch of clay on the bottom of these, because I know I'm going to have to flip these upside down and do the trimming on them later. So that doesn't bother me. Fill that up back up. Because I took this time, I'm going to have to be really quick on the next ones, or else I'm going to lose my challenge. There are people that have problems. This clay that I'm using is actually B-mix with grog. And there are people who have problems with their pottery, especially bowls, and anything that gets formed out further than mugs. There are people that have problems with S-cracks, stress cracks. Stress, S, they end up the same thing. The little cracks that end up usually on the bottom of your bowl, while it's drying. Some of the things to reduce that S-cracking that you can do is, this is what I found. I found a couple of cures. I don't know if they're cures. A couple of things that help. Because there's a good chance none of these bowls are going to S-crack. And part of that is because of the way I'm throwing it. So when I open that up, I do go back in and I compress the bottom. But the first thing I do, I do right at the very beginning. All right. This right here. This is the first step in reducing S-cracks or stress cracks, whatever you want to call them. I throw my clay down. What that does is all that clay on the bottom now got pushed hard together right against the back. Now when I go back in and I compress the middle, it's going to create even a tighter weave on the bottom of all those clay particles. So that makes it so it doesn't stress crack. One of the reasons I know that throwing it down helps alleviate the stress cracking is that I was using similar clay. It was actually a little more porcelain-like than this. It wasn't B-mix, it was something else, but it was very porcelain-like. I was in my basement throwing pots, and I had my little dog sitting there, and every time I threw a lump of clay down, my little dog would start shivering. Not shivering, shivering. Shivering's the right word. Anyway, kind of like it was scared, like the popping of firecrackers sometimes does to dogs. And this was just my clay hitting the bat. Every time it would shake and come out from underneath the wheel and stare at me like, why are you doing this? Why? So I stopped throwing the clay down. And when I stopped throwing the clay down, guess what happened? About, well, at least 10%, maybe even a little bit more, of my pots would S-crack. You got to pull it under there several times to get it to this to start to slide. Once it starts to slide though, you should be able to get it off, just like that. Last one, boom. We're at 28 minutes, done. Thanks for coming to my YouTube channel.